moved out of these traits that are, the traits that I think are important for leaders, and we're moving into the section 2 in the book, which is building a better workplace. And that's really about the physical environment, and also what the environment feels like for somebody working within that environment. And it's the leader's responsibility, the leader's job to build that environment and make sure that the environment works well for each individual member of their team. Jim Collins is a really well-known author who wrote Good to Great. And I always hear it referenced that he talks about, you got to get the right people on the bus. I gotta tell you, I read something by a gentleman by the name of Keith McFarland, did a similar study on breakthrough companies, not necessarily great companies, very similar study to Jim Collins. And what he said is maybe the best way to get the right people on the bus is to create a bus worth riding on in the first place. And I love that, right? So it's not about finding that right person necessarily who's going to, match up exactly with what you want. Maybe it's about creating an amazing bus for people to ride on. And that is what leadership should be doing. And so I love that. That's in the intro to this section. I talk about how every work environment should be a place where people are nurtured and supported, where people go home feeling more invigorated than when they showed up. And that's the primary premise, one of the primary premises of this whole book, right? Is that we should be creating an environment where people come in and they're supported in a way, they're nurtured, it's a loving environment. And at the end of the day, when they leave their team and they go home, that they're more invigorated. And the power and impact of that on the world is really the baseline of our entire purpose and vision, right? And it's what can we do if we create workplaces and we create cultures where people go to work, they're taken care of, they're nurtured, they're supported, and they go home more invigorated. And so it's the primary premise of the book. It's also the primary premise of our purpose and vision as a company. I do a lot of sports references in this chapter about building championship teams. And one of the primary things about that for me is that, I was really super fortunate to spend the day with Michael Reinsdorf, who owns the Chicago Bulls. And I was able to ask him, I'm like, what keeps you up at night as an owner of a team? Or, what do you worry about? And he said, all I worry about is the players and their psyche, their psychology, when they come to work in the morning, and taking care of them so that when they come to work in the morning, they show up as, the healthiest, most powerful self that they can. And I was like, man, isn't that exactly what we should all be doing together, working together as leaders, as colleagues? Shouldn't we all be focused on making sure that every single one of us shows up to work in the morning in the best place we possibly can in order to work together and thrive off of each other and so on? And so I really love that. And I was like, well, if that's what a professional sports team is doing, and they all do, right? They all, got these players and they put everything they can into these players because these players are the reason why they're going to win and lose games. Well, isn't that exactly what a company does too? We all have players. The players show up, we take care of the players in a way, and we facilitate an environment where we're all taking care of each other so that we can, quote, win games together. And so I do make a lot of sports. I won't go through many more, but I do make a lot of sports references about the environment of a winning sports team and why they win. And that's a big part of this chapter. This chapter is from page 65 to 134. It has let's see here. It has 5 sections, and the sections are, chapter 5 is what's love got to do with it. It talks about how to make sure your actions as a leader are coming from a place of love and respect. And so that's what I will go through my next opportunity to be on Huddle, which I don't know if that'll be next week or not. But anyway, that's we're moving into section 2, and then we'll be getting into chapter 5 next, and that's what's love got to do with it. Thanks.